Well, this is sad to admit, but even I, an experienced mountain biker, bought a bike I shouldn't have. I regret it, and now I'm gonna sell it. Let's talk about it. What's up guys, Josh here again with Daily Mountain Bike Rider, and today I'm making a video admitting a mistake I made that I've seen people make so many times before. Have you ever seen somebody buy a bike, kind of like my Transition Sentinel here, and maybe it was a friend or a family member or somebody you've seen on Craigslist posting a bike that was pristine and brand new that they bought new, thinking they were going to use because mountain biking sounded like fun, and then they never got around to using it. It's something that drives me crazy because while people are free to do whatever they want to, I encourage everybody, before you spend thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars on a bike or anything in your life, make sure you're actually going to use it. Which is why it's sad that I actually did the same thing. So let me talk about the bike and how this kind of transpired. You see, currently I have 4 bikes. Yes, my garage is messy. I have my gravel bike, I have a dirt jumper, I have my hardtail that I just showed you, and then of course my Transition Sentinel. I use all of these bikes, so I try to use them at least once or twice a month. Now, most of them I use a lot more than that, but my goal is to actually use the things I own. And then I had an opportunity to buy a bike that I thought was gonna change my life forever. And that bike is actually this bike. And this is a Trifox. This is a carbon hardtail cross-country bike. That's right, I bought a cross-country bike. I had heard my friends who had bought them. People said it's so much fun to go fast, and while you're not doing jumps in technical terrain as much, you're gonna have a great time getting out on a ride on mountain bike trails, just doing it a little differently, maybe with some Lycra and all that. And it sounded great. And I think I definitely bought into the hype. So to my surprise, I was kind of like looking at building up a cross-country bike. Trifox actually reached out to me and said they would offer to send over a frame. I took a look at this, and this looks very similar to the high-end carbon frames that you and I both know from Trek or Giant or Specialized or whatever it may be. And I thought if they would send me the frame, then I will pay for all the remainder of the parts or piece it together with things I had. So I sunk in probably $700 into this bike to make it what it is today. Some notable things I threw on there was a entry-level RockShox fork. I also threw on a GX Eagle drivetrain I had laying around, a wheel set I had laying around, and I found some other things like cross-country tires and a saddle, bars and stem on Craigslist and around locally. So I built this thing up and I took it out on the trails, and the first ride I realized something. I don't know if cross-country is actually for me. You see, living in Bellingham in Northwest Washington, we mainly have enduro trails or more downhill-oriented trails. You kind of go up slow or at your own pace, and then your goal is to have a lot of fun going down. And while there are definitely cross-country trails around here, I realize all of my friends, everybody out on the trails, and the thing that I genuinely like to do is not go fast going sideways or going uphill. I just do it so that I can eventually go downhill. So jumping to the point, I made this video for 2 main reasons and encouragements for you and myself. Number 1, don't make the mistake I did. If you're thinking about buying a bike or anything, do yourself a favor, find somebody who already has it that's willing to let you borrow it and use it. For a bike, use it 2, 3, 4 times, and make sure you really are into the discipline of biking or biking in general before you go and spend money. It never hurts to try first. And number 2, if you have bought something and you realize it's not for you, like I have, don't be afraid to sell it. I found out this Trifox is actually a really great bike. I encourage you guys, click the link below if you want to check out the frames and build one up yourself. It's solid, it was really fun, it just wasn't for me. And I encourage any of you, if you bought a mountain bike or anything else that you don't use that's sitting in your garage that's collecting dust, do yourself a favor, admit your mistake, throw it up on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, and sell it to somebody else who's actually going to use it. I know this bike is going to go to a great home for somebody who's going to ride it on the trails like I should be. All right, time to actually go wash this thing up and get it ready to sell. And I think that about wraps up this video. So hopefully you learned from my mistake and aren't afraid to admit them. Anyway, that's enough for me. You know what time it is. Don't spend too much time watching a guy talk about cross-country bikes that he realized he's not suitable for, but get out there, ride your bike, and make sure you do it every day.